This is not the normal meet at the Apple. This is a political campaign. This man needs to be in Atlanta at the Midsummer Classic. What are some of Reed Garrett's favorite Reed Garrett reactions to getting out of a big jam?
In LCS, back-to-back outings, striking out at Teoscar with guys on base and trying to keep the game close there. And then the Freddie Freeman one, I'll be able to show my kids when they're a little bit older and be like, hey, Dad was pretty cool.
My colleagues, my friends, Jenna and Brendan, they told me that you are an expert animal sound maker. That is your hidden talent. I mean, the squirrel noise is kind of
squirrel noise. Yeah, maybe every time Jeff gets a hit, we'll just... Last night was a Tuesday night, and there was like 40,000 people here. So I just want to say thank you to the Mets fans for coming out. We notice it, and we appreciate the energy that you guys are bringing. So let's keep going, and let's go Mets.
Welcome to Meet at the Apple, presented by PC Richard & Son. I'm Jonathan Barron, and this episode... This is not the normal Meet at the Apple. This is a political campaign of sorts because we've got Reed Garrett here, and I didn't even know he was going to do this. Reed's got his Vote Mets shirt on, and I'm sitting here thinking, what am I going to talk with Reed about? And I'm like, we got to pump Reed Garrett up because this man needs to be at the Midsummer Classic in Atlanta in July because of how, I mean, dude, you've been dominant. So first of all, I mean, how are you feeling about just all that's gone down so far this year?
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on. This has been a great year. It's been a lot of great team wins, a lot of great team moments, unbelievable play from everybody. I am just happy to be a part of it. And yeah, I mean, it's crazy that we are doing the things that we're doing. Soto, Lindor, Pete, David Peterson, Sugar, the entire starting rotation. Man, it's a fun team to be part of.
You talked about the rotation, and they bridged that to the back end. And you and Edwin have really become, for my money, I think a lot of Mets fans' money, the best 1-2 back end of the bullpen punch in the entire sport. On a normal game day, how much are you guys chatting? Because Mendy's used you guys sometimes in flipped roles. Mm-hmm. You've gotten some saves. Edwin, I know in LA, was getting ready to go in to face 1, 2, 3 in the eighth inning before Pete blew a game out of the water, and he sat down as the ball was still in the air, I think. Yeah. But what's the relationship like with you and Edwin being that 1-2 punch at the back of the bullpen?
Sugar is one of the best people in the game, not only pitchers, but human beings too. It keeps things light. It's great to have somebody with the skill set and like the abilities that he has just to watch him go about his work. There's not a whole lot of like baseball talk. There's not like a whole bunch of strategy. For him, he's just going out there and overpowering people. But for myself, just to like watch him go about his work and see what he does, I'm trying to take it all in as much as possible. Brosbon's been great. I wouldn't say it's just me and Shug.
No, of course. Yeah. Kranick before you went, and
Kranick,
Budo.
Yeah, Budo, Stanek. I mean,
Jose Castillo's coming over.
Yeah, exactly.
Justin Garza pumping gas last night.
Yeah, that was cool to see. It is 1 through 8. Whoever's out there, I think we all have the ability to get any outs in any part of the game. So it definitely takes the stress off of a lot of people. Not having to rely on just one guy for certain things. But yeah, like being a part of it and being mentioned with him back to back, that's something that's special to me. So I'm just trying to do the best I can and put us in the best position to win.
I recently saw a picture of you. You were an Oriole at the time.
Yep.
Must have been taken Sarasota photo day.
Okay.
It looked like it was 6 a.m. You know how early those photo days can
right,
be.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about Reed Garrett at the time of the photo being taken. You hadn't really found your foothold in Major League Baseball. Mm-hmm. You hadn't become the dominant sub-1 ERA all-star Reed Garrett that you are today.
Yeah.
Thinking about your journey to getting to this spot. Mm-hmm. You know, you went to VMI, you went overseas, you played baseball, you came back here. You fought your way back to the big leagues. You were with the Mets organization up and down, and now you're in the spot you're in. What's the journey been like when you really take a step back and think about all the things I just said?
Wow. Yeah, it's cool. It is, I guess from what I think about is just like persevering through adversity. It hasn't been easy. It's been a lot of times where it would have been easy to hang them up or get down on myself. I mean, I've had people along the way help me up when things got tough. But yeah, it's definitely it's something that I'm extremely grateful for. I'm thankful for the opportunity that I got with the Mets in 23, and just to be a part of this family. It's something that I hold special. So yeah, like if I think about it from the top down, I just think about like, man, I've given everything that I have, and just trying to keep pushing forward and keep seeing what else comes of this. But just not taking any day for granted, and just going out there and having fun and being grateful for each opportunity that I get.
One of your best outings to this point, there's a lot still to come,
Yeah.
was LA.
Yep.
That Tuesday night, late night. I was awake. A lot of Mets fans were awake.
Appreciate you guys.
Second and third, no outs. You've got Freeman, you've got Teoscar, and you've got Will Smith, who has been the best hitter in baseball with runners in scoring position. And you pull a rabbit out of your hat. You get out of that unscathed. Talk us through your game plan once you've got Shohei and Mookie on base, how you're going to go about not just, get out of it, but you got to face some dudes at the plate, and you pulled it off.
Yeah. So I thought from the start, like even though I walked Ohtani and gave up a base hit to Mookie, I thought from the start that I was executing pretty good pitches. I thought like the at bat with Shohei, it's a guy that you don't want to get clipped right off the start. So you got to be like, you have to be fine. Try to treat it as 0-2 from the start there. And I just overcooked a fastball and walked him, but it happens. But after that, like, second and third, nobody out. I just tried to dig deep and think about executing the best pitches that I could. And I think it's set up with, I got a first pitch strike to Freddie, and then threw a couple competitive pitches and ended up getting to 2-1. I threw a really good cutter after that, and he swung and missed. And out of that same window, I felt confident in the splitter and threw that. And then with Teoscar, like another guy who can do damage. So it's just like throw your best pitches and go right after him. So I felt confident with that. So I was just trying to challenge him in the strike zone, make him beat me, and not kind of fall behind and be timid to pitch to contact, because I felt like I had the right stuff to get him in that situation. And then once it gets to 2 strikes, it was just like, or once it gets to 2 outs, it was just, hey man, like I've got an open base. I need to get an out within the next 2 batters. So I'm just going to throw my best stuff in this situation. And he chased and got out of it. And that was, it was one of those things where it was loud there for a second. And, it was all the emotion came out there at the end. Had a pretty big yell, but, I don't think, that was a heck of a play by Ronnie, getting the ground ball and making a good throw to Alvy and getting in the rundown. So I think it was just team effort, and that was something that I feel like last year in the playoffs kind of prepared me for.
You got Freddie here at Citi Field, Game 5.
That's right. Yeah, I did. But that's something, that I thought that like at the end of the season last year, those situations kind of prepare you for those big situations where you need to make some pitches and get out of it, and just being able to stay within yourself and execute your pitches, not try to get too big and just try to do too much or try to be something that you're not. It was just more just like internally focused. I've been like, hey man, I can trust myself and do what I do best and go right after him. And I felt like that's what I did.
Yeah, that was a huge moment. I want to talk about your reactions because I love the emotion, but more so, let's talk about just you guys leaving LA.
Yeah.
You guys have finished the season series with the Dodgers, all 7 games. We know what happened last October. That team obviously went on to win the World Series. That lineup was incredible, and they just seemingly never ran out of hitting or pitching. But it's a brand new season, and I think you guys kind of pushed them around a little bit. I know in LA it was a 4-game split, but you guys led the majority. I think it was 28 of 39 innings in that 4-game series. Yeah. Did you guys leave Chavez Ravine feeling like, we are right there with this team, the defending world champions?
Yeah, they're a great baseball team. They're deep.
Of course they are.
They are. Yeah, I just think that we have so much confidence in ourselves in that clubhouse, and from the top down, everybody is all pulling on the same rope, and I think that's truly what we're focusing on. Is like not necessarily comparing ourselves to other teams in the league. I think we're comparing ourselves to who we were yesterday, and just trying to put our best foot forward and have that confidence and that compete. And from I think it all starts and sets the tone. Lindor walks around the clubhouse and after every game talks to everybody, congratulates them, or tells everybody to keep their head up if it was a tough one. And I think that goes a long way. And I think we've got a lot of guys who lead by example and show what it takes to be a dominant team. And I think we're seeing that on the field. I think we're seeing that in all the different position groups, like the position players, the infielders, the outfielders, the catchers, the starting pitchers, the relievers. We all are like a tight-knit group within a tight-knit group, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's the biggest thing is we're comparing ourselves and holding ourselves accountable and pushing forward. And that's truly what I think is the difference maker of good teams and great teams. And I feel like we're showing that to the world right now.
Well, you show your emotions to the world, like you mentioned. That Dodger wiggle job, whatever you want to call it, you gave the huge emotional pump. Yeah. I was at Yankee Stadium the Saturday game this year. You got out of a jam. That was a nice pump as well. Yeah. What are some of Reed Garrett's favorite Reed Garrett reactions to getting out of a big jam?
Man, the Dodgers one was probably top two if I had to put a number on it. The first outing that I had in the playoffs, like you mentioned about where I was before, and to be in that situation and to pitch in a close game in the playoffs in that kind of environment. If you would have asked me 3 years ago if I would have ever done that, I don't know. If I would have said, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's so I think that one was like a huge moment for me personally, being like, hey man, we're here, we're doing it. Obviously the big outs at home here in the playoffs were huge.
Dominated those Phillies.
Yeah. The Phillies, the NLCS back-to-back outings, striking out at Teoscar with guys on base in that, trying to keep the game close there. And then the Freddie Freeman one. Those are big moments, and it's something that I don't think I'll ever forget. And hopefully I'll be able to show my kids when they're a little bit older and being like, hey, Dad was pretty cool. This is got to do some pretty cool things. But yeah, I don't think I could put numbers on them. I think I just hold them all pretty special.
It's always great. I love seeing the raw emotion, especially in that big spot. Like on Tuesday night here at Citi Field, you pitch a clean 10th inning. Obviously, you have to deal with the ghost runner. By the way, are you pro or anti ghost runner? I guess as a pitcher, you're probably not loving it. It's not an earned run, so that's good. But it's also an 18-inning game is good for nobody. I think you can agree with that, right?
100%.
Like someone's riding that AAA Express after the game. That sucks.
I agree. I have a proposed rule change that if you leave the guy out there, it's a home team. Say you put up a 0, like last night, we put up a 0. I think that the home team should start with the runner on third rather than on second, because you limited the damage and you did something good for your team. And I think you should be rewarded for that. Okay. So instead of starting with the guy on second, you should start with the guy on third because you held the other team to a 0.
I like that.
I think that is maybe something we could talk about, but I don't think we'll get like the full approval from everybody. But yeah, that's just my opinion.
That is literally defense leading to offense. How about this? As the pitcher, like that ghost runner, I think 60% of the time comes around to score some fashion. 2 outs and you can get that run across. The pitcher that strands the runner, although if it scores, it's not an earned run. Yeah. How about we subtract an earned run from the pitcher's ledger?
Hey.
Then you take that to
I
don't have to get into the negotiations here. Yeah.
That's right.
I mean, you can call Rob. I'm not going to call Rob.
Yeah.
You can call Rob. But you got it done in the 10th inning. You get it done in the 8th inning. I remember maybe it wasn't your first career save, but LA in April of 2024. That was your first career save. Yep. When Edwin went 1-2-3, got Muncy to end the game, right? Struck him out. I know Muncy.
Gavin Lux.
It was Lux, but Muncy was one of the guys you got. I think he got Muncy, or did Edwin get Muncy?
I think he got. Yeah, he might have got it.
Damn, you know what? I usually have the photogenic memory, and I just outed myself.
Yeah.
But from your perspective, I'm curious. I've asked a couple guys this in the past. Want to hear your take? Pitching in the 8th inning versus the 9th inning.
Yeah.
How much different is it? Obviously, outs 25, 26, 27. It's the final ones. When I'm going for a run, I know it's not like getting the final outs of a ball game, but the last like 2 minutes of the jog are the toughest ones because you know how close you are to the finish line. So what's your perspective on the difference between being a setup guy versus getting the final 3 outs of a game?
Yeah. Closers get paid a lot of money for a reason.
Setup guys can too.
True. But I think that the last 3 outs are, it feels like you get everybody's best at bat of the game in the last 3 outs of the game. I think that it's just, especially if it's a 1 or 2 run game, guys are extra locked in. They're doing the best they can to get on base. They're doing the best they can to put up better at bats than they did previously throughout the game. As much as you try to tell yourself that getting 3 outs in the 8th is the same as getting 3 outs in the 9th, it's just a little bit different. I heard somebody say the other day, they talk about the leverage and stuff like that. I think they said that leverage should be calculated by how loud the crowd is. And you know that as soon as it's the 9th inning, the crowd's loud, they're into it. The guy gets on base in a 1-run game or a 2-run game where a 1 swing ties it or 1 swing wins it, everybody's locked in. Yeah. Everybody in the stands are rooting for that to happen if you're on the road. Or everybody on the stands is cheering because you're about to get the last out. So I think, you try to convince yourself that 3 outs is 3 outs no matter what it is, what inning it is. But there is just a slight difference between getting the 25th, 26th, and 27th out, in my opinion.
All right. I like that thought process of the amount of noise. I'm sure, I mean, you guys are humans, right? When there's 40,000+ people screaming and you're on this literal island on the diamond, on the pitcher's mound, I'm sure it can be a daunting thing, especially at Chavez Ravine, let's say, where they've got the loudest speaker system in the Western Hemisphere.
It's crazy. It is loud out there.
I'm sure that could probably get to you a little bit. Well, you've done the saving thing, and we obviously know Edwin has his legendary entrance.
Yeah.
You could close in this league. I mean, you've got the stuff. We know you can do it. And I know you've got, I think, 2 saves here. The White Sox game, the 4-out save, and Dodgers Sunday Night Baseball.
Yes.
Am I missing one? That's it.
No, that's it this year.
And we did a little light show for you.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, let's say Reed Garrett is, closing games full time at some point. How do we get that entrance to the level where, you're a showman. I know you're a showman. So how do we up that a bit? Let's workshop it.
Man, I don't know.
You play an instrument? Because I know trumpet, no instruments.
I don't think you wanted me to play an instrument. It's not. I don't think it'd be great.
Okay.
It's cool. Even on the road when Atlanta does it, where they shut off the light and they do the tomahawk thing. To be honest, it's cool being an opposing pitcher going in there because it's man, all right, literally everybody here's rooting against me and wants me to fail.
And you embrace that. That pumps you up.
You embrace it, and you're just man, you're running out there, all the lights are shut off, and all you see is everybody's camera lights and stuff. I think maybe some people use that as a motivator and are able to get fired up a little bit more rather than being intimidated by the opposing crowd. I feel like ours is intimidating.
Yeah, I was going to say, we do the same thing here. Are you telling us we should scale back?
But the thing is, I feel like ours is intimidating just because it's a little bit more of a darker sound and tone to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rather than just everybody's doing the Braves chant.
Stupid. The All-Star game in Atlanta.
Yeah, it's true. It's a great place to pitch. I like pitching there. But yeah, I don't think I have any ideas about a light show. It'd be sick. I like the one that, everybody loves the one that Edwin has. So if there's something that anybody thinks of, we're open to it.
Well, my first thought was Reed.
Yeah.
And when the Mets win the game, Howie Rose says, put it in the books.
Yeah.
We read books. So I don't know if you like to read.
I can read.
I didn't doubt that. But that was a thought starter. That was a thought starter. So maybe something with pages or books or something like that. Maybe you writing down your strikeout victims or something, looking real intimidating or something like that. Yeah. You got your little book of guys you've K'd. Yeah. So we'll continue to work on it. But right. I felt like I'm a production guy, so I figured, I'd throw it your way.
Let's
I got
workshop it.
one last thing I want to bring up. I'd be remiss if I didn't. My colleagues, my friends, Jenna and Brendan, they told me that you are an expert animal sound maker. That is your hidden talent. Is this true or is this false?
I don't want to say expert.
They said expert.
Let's say amateur sound maker. Yeah.
But you're an animal sound maker.
Yeah.
What animals do you do?
I could do a couple. I could do. I don't think. Have you ever heard what like the sound a squirrel makes?
No, and they told me you do a squirrel, and obviously we're all about squirrels here. I didn't know that squirrels made. Is that like when a squirrel's eating a nut?
No, it's how to communicate back and forth with each other.
That's just them chatting it up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, what else you got?
Oh man. I could do an elephant too. That's about it. That's all I got.
Those two?
Yeah.
Dude, what if your entrance is you making animal noises? You said that the dark noises here works.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, the squirrel noise is kind of
squirrel noise. Yeah, maybe every time Jeff gets a hit, we'll just.
I think there might be the footage that we just captured that might be on City Vision. That's a big scoreboard.
That's right.
That could be something.
Yeah.
Reed, dude, you are, first of all, a great dude. Love talking to you. And
it.
obviously we're just loving watching that death splitter and you go out there and just be lights out.
Yeah.
So I know the fans can't vote on the relievers for the All-Star game, but if you guys, whoever the guys and gals out there that make these decisions, this man needs to be in Atlanta at the Midsummer Classic. Reed Garrett, thank you so much for joining us. Keep up the great work, and let's go Mets.
Yeah, let's go Mets.
Get this guy in the All-Star game.
I also got one more thing.
Okay.
Last night was a Tuesday night, and there was like 40,000 people here. So I just want to say thank you to the Mets fans for coming out. Man, like we notice it, and we appreciate the energy that you guys are bringing. So let's keep going, and let's go Mets.
I should have asked that question. Thank you for putting that in there.
Absolutely.
You're the man. Thank you, Reed.
Thanks, guys.
Always so much fun to talk to Reed Garrett for so many reasons, and you guys just watched and listened to the interview, so you know exactly why. Honestly, one of the nicest, most humble guys that Vito and I have chatted with. And despite Friday, throw it out the window in Philadelphia, despite Tuesday where he almost pulled another Houdini act in Atlanta, Reed Garrett belongs in the All-Star game. He has been one of the best relievers in the National League this year. He has some of the best stuff in all of baseball, and that's why Carlos Mendoza continues to go to him in these high leverage situations. So the Mets head home after a weekend series in Philadelphia, and they'll get a chance for some revenge on the Atlanta Braves. The Braves come into town for a 4-game series, and the big difference between the series coming up and the one in Atlanta this past week is no Chris Sale for the Braves. He, of course, injured himself diving off the mound in the 9th inning on Wednesday, so the Mets will not see Chris Sale once again. Like I mentioned, the Mets get a chance for some revenge for the sweep that was dealt to them by the Braves in Atlanta. But we will see how that series goes. 4 games set at Citi Field. Fireworks night on Wednesday night, a makeup from the May 30th fireworks night. So make sure you're there for that. We've got Women's Day on Monday and a big Thursday night game as well. All games, night games, going to be hot this week. Make sure you hydrate no matter where you are. Maybe you might be in the market for a new air conditioner. And if you are, I know exactly where you can go to get that air conditioner. Of course, I'm talking about our friends over at PC Richard & Son. They have got the best deals, the most friendly, knowledgeable sales staff. So if you are in the market for, say, an air conditioner or a television or a mattress or any home appliance, whatever it might be, check out your local PC Richard & Son store. They will take care of you, and they have been doing it since 1909. So that does it for this episode of Meet at the Apple. Real quick before we sign off, big announcement. Vito will be back this week, and I want to shout out Hunter Taubes for doing a great job in Vito's absence, and I want to also shout out Ty Levine, for all the help that he contributed during Vito's time away from the show. Vito will explain why he was away from the show when he gets back. I will not steal his thunder, although if you follow Vito on Twitter, you already know why, but I will let him make that announcement. But big shout out to Hunter. Big shout out to Ty. Big shout out to you guys for listening, for watching. You can follow this podcast on the Mets YouTube page, on Apple, on Spotify. You can follow me on Twitter, on Instagram at JMB9191. You can follow Vito at Vito F. Khaleesi. You can follow Hunter at Hunter Taubes. I don't think Ty's ever given me his social media handles, so I can't shout him out. But thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Mets Braves coming up. We will be here to break it all down for you. Until then, we'll see you guys next time at the Apple.